I welcome everybody to Repay TV once again. Now we're going to talk about some interesting proposals that are in the works that will be presented to the Senate. I think some of these are ridiculous, but I'm not a politician yet. So proposal number one, which goes something along the lines of each American over the age of 16 would get a $2,000 per month paycheck. Now the qualifications are, this applies to people who are making $130,000 or less. It will be doubled for couples, so meaning $4,000 for couples who are making $260,000 or less. $500 extra will be given for each child within a family to a maximum of $1,500, which means that if you have more than 3 children, you're kind of sort of out of luck. This will not be counted as income, which means you will not be taxed on it. It applies to everybody, to even people who have been claimed as a dependent by somebody else on their tax returns. Guaranteed for 6 months. If the need be, it could be renewed for another 6 months. The total cost of this proposal would be $448 billion per month. And this could be one of the most costliest ones out there, because in total, for a period of 6 months, it would cost $2.6 trillion to the United States government. At the end of the day, who pays for all this? The taxpayers. Now, some of the downsides of this that I see are, number one, it's very expensive. Number two, does a person aged 16 really need $2,000? No, I personally believe they do not. What if a family has more than 3 children? Number three, people who are already making $130,000, that's a lot of money, by the way. Do they need additional $2,000 a month? Which brings us to our second proposal, which is called the Rent and Mortgage Cancellation Act of 2020. Now this one is interesting. Here are the guidelines. Everybody qualifies, which means that if you're somebody who lives in who lives in an apartment that costs $1,000 a month, you'll qualify. If you're somebody who lives in a $4 million mansion making $20,000 in payment every month, you will qualify. So here we go. Start with the renters. For year one, no rent on primary residence. If I'm renting an apartment or a home and I live in it with my family or myself, for the entire year, my rent will be forgiven. No impact on the credit score. This will not be treated as an owed debt, meaning if I don't pay rent for the next 6 months, I don't owe that. That is gone. It's wiped. It didn't exist. For owners, year one, no mortgage on primary residence, no impact on the credit score, no risk of foreclosure. Landlords. So if I am a landlord and somebody is renting my property, I will be reimbursed for it. Now, this plan or this proposal does have a lot of stipulations, meaning that if I were to take advantage of this proposal, there will be a rent freeze on my property for the next 5 years, meaning I can't adjust it accordingly to what the market says. And last but not least, the lenders. So if I'm a homeowner and I don't make payment on my home, the lenders will get money from the federal government to compensate for this loss. Who benefits? I believe most Americans will benefit from this. Why? Because if you're somebody who's renting, it doesn't matter what your age is, what your income is, you're living there for free. What could be better than not having to pay rent or mortgage? You know, in the world, the biggest cost that a person faces is the cost of living. A roof over your head, that's the biggest cost that comes out of a paycheck. Hey, I think I would love it. People who are already well off, they benefit more from this. Why? If I'm somebody who lives in a mansion that has a $20,000 per month mortgage payment, that's 20 grand in my pocket every month that I don't lose. And if I'm somebody who can afford a house like that, it means that I have streams of income and a business that is going really well. People who've already paid off their houses, there's somebody who will not benefit from this. Why? I don't owe any money on my house. So what am I going to gain out of this? Nothing. Mom and pop investors, people who own a home or two or duplex or two here and there, and who are dependent upon that rent income, they will probably not benefit from it. They will have to adhere to that rent freeze for the next 5 years. Proposal number 3, which is called Automatic Boost to Communities Act, or the ABC Act. Every American will get a preloaded debit card with $2,000 loaded in it instantly, no questions asked. Then after that, every month, everybody will get $1,000. This plan will last for 1 year. Like I said, everybody gets it. The funding part, how will this be funded? This is what cracked me up. No additional debt will be issued. The Treasury will order the US Mint to issue 2 $1 trillion coins, 2 coins each worth $1 trillion. Then the Federal Reserve would buy those 2 coins from the mint. The Federal Reserve will possess ownership of these 2 coins. And in return, the mint will print out $2 trillion. Let's look at it this way. Suppose this notebook cost $100. I'm giving you this notebook. In return, you give me a $100 bill. So you keep this $100 notebook, and I keep that $100 bill, which essentially means that I'm giving you something that isn't really marketable. In return, you give me something that's cash and easily marketable. We're done.